Grenade out!
Last one. Complete the mission.
I'm hurt!
Bomb defused. Nice work. Get ready for the next round. Bomb spotted. Destroy the objective. Got the bomb.
Frag out! Flash out! Smoke! 待機中です。
It's all up to you now. Finish the mission. Lost that round, but it's not over yet. Ready up. Defend the objectives. The enemy has the bomb.
Watch out!
Bomb dropped. Lost that round, but it's not over yet. Ready up. Defend the objective. They have the bomb. Last man standing. Finish it. The bomb has been planted. Nice work. Get ready for the next round. Destroy the objective. Bomb acquired.
Frag! Target down!
Lost that round, but it's not over yet. Ready up. It's a draw. Stand down. been planted. You now. Finish the mission. Nice work. Get ready for the next round. Destroy the objective. Bomb acquired.
Frag out.
The bomb has been planted.
Enemy down. Enemy down.
Last one. Complete the mission. Nice work. Get ready for the next round. Destroy the objective. We got the bomb.
Grenade. Frag out. Enemy down.
The bomb has been planted.
Tango down. Eliminated.
It's all up to you now. Finish the mission. Nice work. Get ready for the next round.
My family. Return to families.
It's a draw. Stand down.
Calm, cool, collected, and say, all right, go ahead, call the ambulance. But not for me. All right, we got to go ahead and toss it over to our casters, get into our upper side of the bracket. So, Beef Mommy and Bobby, go ahead, take it away, y'all.
Well, hopefully the ambulance arrived on time, but we've got a lot more action ahead of us, and it's definitely going to be knockdown, drag out, COD Mobile action. Two of the best teams in the world, two #1 seeds getting ready to play. We've got Wolves going up against Inco Gaming. China's proved they've got what it takes in this competition. LATAM has done the same. Two very, very different play styles. Beef, what are you expecting going into this one?
Well, China #1 and LATAM #1. This is going to be, honestly, I'm hoping that it's going to stretch out to the distance. But taking a look at our map picks and bans as the moment, Map number 1, takeoff, hardpoint. Map number 2, slum, search and destroy. Map number 3, standoff control. And if we're gonna reach summit hardpoint, I feel like this is one of those matchups that could actually go to the distance, and especially going to a map number 5, hacienda, search and destroy, if we do get there. Love playing this particular map in this particular game mode, but obviously we have to start things off with takeoff hardpoint, where I think a lot of these teams just really take advantage of the space, and you just really need to bring it down, because we already know that LATAM teams really like their close range engagements.
Well, the thing about LATAM is they've been dominating with the SKS, and takeoff is going to be a perfect position to use that one. It talked a lot about how much Krieg usage we saw on the Chinese side of things, and to be honest, I would say the Krieg is more of like a flex AR SMG than it is a true AR. So we'll see if they make those adjustments as well. Obviously, there's some debate over whether or not the Chinese teams are going to be using SKS at all, but you got to feel like, especially with how dominant players like Lucazin are able to be with that, you got to have some sort of counter. So we'll see what they can break out right here. But looks like we're already hopping into the action, and outside of the Tribe Q9 matchup, I think this is one of the more exciting matchups that we'll have all day today. It's going to be a spicy one.
Oh, definitely, because I'm already looking at their hardpoint matchup, and it looks like, you know, Inco has a little bit of an upper hand when it comes to hardpoints and also respawns in general. So very exciting to see what they're going to provide here for today. But again, Inco on the right side, and also going to be Wolves on the left. Don't really look at the, you know, the different Inco members that we have here, because there's just scattered all across the map. But 15 already to their name, 32 seconds after the clock, an open hardpoint for them.
You're going to want to keep an eye on where they're positioning those SKSs, because they are looking to rain terror from above. We know Wolves' strongest mode, probably not hardpoint in general. We actually saw them drop a hardpoint map to Strut, which is definitely a surprising start to our day. So yeah, you got to feel like coming into this one, probably giving an edge. And even looking at the meta, like, we only have SMGs and Kriegs, which once again kind of a flex AR SMG, and on the flip side, we got 2 SKSs in play for Inco. It has worked beautifully for them so far, as they are sitting pretty right now, and no surprise to see Lucazin slaying out early on.
No contest whatsoever coming in from Wolves in that first hard point. Try to go in there for the early setup into P2. We've already seen it before. Tribe in Q9. Q9 went here too early of a rotation, and now looks like it's going to be the same case, where Inco really good at the break here in P2. Also, really good spawns as well, because taking a look at that, everyone else coming in from Wolves are actually spawning so far away, right in Generator. This is a spot that you do not want yourself to be in.
And right now, Lucazin going on a big spree. He's got streaks for days right now. 15 kills to his name. You can actively see the Wolves players tilting as they repeatedly die to his SKS. And he's just been a one-man show so far, and a big reason why Inco now sitting up 60 points after only 2 rotations of the hardpoint. He's been an absolute menace on the map. I mean, I've had to play against him when he's on 90 ping, and he still obliterates me. So I can only imagine when he's on 0 ping what type of menace he is.
You know, it's really cool, because every time that we have this conversation with who is the best LATAM player, Lucasin's always going to be that one in your mind. When you ask the casters, it's him. When you ask everyone else, the pro players, it's going to be him. And it really just proves how well of a player he is. 18 to his name. No one from Wolves even comes close to that.
And right now, that topside control going to be crucial. Wolves going to be shut down from above. And if you let Lucazin get into that high ground, you're not going to be able to make an entry into this hard point from really anywhere. Wolves doing everything they can. Peg's going to be able to find one, and that's the first true break they've been able to find on the game so far. You got a couple players on the backside looking to push in. And one of the beauties of the way Lucazin plays, he doesn't need long angles to dominate with the SKS. He can do it in any situation possible. I'm kind of in disbelief right now. He's at 22 kills. Oh, wait. we might see a freaking 60 bomb in this one.
Without a doubt, but let's see how Wolves can actually go and retaliate to that. But the one thing that I actually noticed from this matchup is like Wolves, they look like they're in shambles. They're going in there one by one into the hardpoint. That just allows Inco to just pick them off just like berries from a bush, and that just provides them so many kills already, provides a lot of score streaks and operator skills already down for them. But here we go. It's actually going to be a really good rotation from Wolves very early on. Let's see if we can try to sustain us. Neon gets a beautiful 4K, and he's going to keep on rampaging 5 times. He's going to be getting some more. Will he get another one? That's going to be the 6th for him, and that's going to be really big kills for his team.
Really big operator investment coming in for Wolves as they're trying to close this gap right now, and it's paid off so far, locking in that control on the inside of the hard point. This is a tough one to break, and especially with them establishing that spawn control, definitely seems like it's worthwhile. Inco's going to be able to pick up the scrap time right here, but it looks like Wolves taking high ground above P1 as well, and they're going to be in a beautiful spot. Still rocking with the SMGs. I figured eventually maybe a little bit of a switch up, especially if you want to try to counter Lucas in. I would expect to see some more smokes come out as well, because you want to take away those lines of sights that he has. But Wolves keeping themselves in this one despite the dominance that we've seen from Lucas in so far.
Wolves keeping themselves afloat, especially in that P4, gathered as much points as they could, but this is where they kind of faltered up into our first half of the game, where they did not get a lot of points into P1. Looks like it's going to be the same thing, where they just want to go and scramble for that map control, which they finally do and get, and there you go. That's going to be really essential points for them. Back and forth, this is going to be a contested hill, and this is what I kind of expected early on into the game, but it's a good thing we finally get to have that now. But for Inco, they're going to be spawning off all over the map as well, so Wolves is actually doing such a great job at solo holding this.
Rafa, you got to close out those gunfights a little bit earlier, missing out a little bits of scrap time here and there, but those points tend to add up. So it is Inco occupying the hard point, picking up the rest of the scrap right here, and it seems like they've got the early rotation. Spawns going to be going the way, at least for P2, the way of Inco. So they're setting up right now. They seem to be in a good spot. That battle on the top side is going to be chaotic, to say the least. And Lucasen, you can go ahead and back up. That's part of the beauty of his play style. He can make it work from the long range. He can do it in the close range as well. And that's going to open up that early control. But a big flank comes through for Wolves. An opportunity to apply some pressure on that backside.
Wolves into the more favorable spawn now, where we saw Inco was spawning off early into this hard point. That's going to be a good start. And then player number 2 coming in from Wolves as well, not winning that essential gunfight. Peg goes down. That allows Inco to go and funnel in through, even though Wolves had the more favorable spawn now. Has a very difficult time to go in there for the contest, and now we need to see some sort of movement coming in from Wolves. Either you go and contest, send half of your team going for the early rotate into P3, because so far they're just not moving at all. They're being spawn trapped right now.
And right now, you're in a position where you got to rotate early, and that's all going the way of Inco as well. We do see the shorty coming out. I honestly forgot how much the Chinese players love using that, but it's one that has basically been completely eliminated in every other region. Curious to see maybe if it comes out a little bit more, but Inco not looking like they have any need for it right now. They have completely run this map. Lucasen's on 39, and we're what, maybe 60%? We may legitimately see a 60 bomb right here. This is by far the most dominant performance we've seen all day.
We haven't even reached the 200-point mark, and Lucasen is already at that 40, but he's doing so well. Already down and about, but one player, really big kill. Ching is going to be on the 17 already for him. That's going to be big kills. 101 and 176 is going to be the scoreline with 26 seconds left, and Wolves are actually getting a bunch of that scrap points in control, but taking a look at what we have, very passionate about what they have today, but what actually happened here is that a player had a disconnect, so we're going to have to check out what will happen later on. But to what point we're going to be restarting the game, that is an answer later on. But Bobby, I mean, it's just a matter of Inco is dictating the pace, and for Wolves, they're just always playing catch up.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they've struggled to adapt, and obviously you want those closer range weapons to be able to force your way into a hard point, but if you're not getting map control to go along with it, then it's not going to be very sustainable, and that's what we saw out of them so far. To be honest, I'm really sad that happened because I wanted to see a 60 bomb. I've never seen a 60 bomb before. Maybe he'll do it again on the replay for the map, but if you're Wolves, you got to be breathing a sigh of relief right now because that one was definitely slipping out of their hands, and now an opportunity to hit the reset button, maybe try to adjust those loadouts to be able to counter Lucas in a little bit more.
I'm keeping a tab on his kills right now. We stopped at 40, so once we do have that remake, let's see, and hope to the COD gods that he might actually give us a 60, but obviously that's going to be not favorable for the side of Wolves, where there are a lot of good plays on their end, but not as, dominant that we thought. Because obviously, going into this, even before we actually started, we knew that Inco had more of an upper hand in hardpoint, and obviously for Wolves, it's more of that S&D matchup that they're going to be performing. But hey, they're actually catching up just a little bit. They just need to find a way to actually stop that SKS.
Yeah, and that's traditionally been the tougher game mode for them, going up against teams that are more used to the rule set, and that makes sense because they have been playing in such a different rule set that it completely changes the way that you play the game. And they've done a good job of adjusting, but I think they still have a lot that they can work on, and definitely some pretty significant points of improvement where they might be able to have a chance at taking out some of those Western teams that have spent a lot more time playing that game mode in the same rule set.
Well, as you can see on your screen right now, Ankle Stalwart actually needs 90 points to win this matchup. So, again, that's a really big deal because for Wolves, that is a lot of catching up to do. But I feel like they're just being outclassed when it comes to the gun skills and also the rotation so far because you can see it already. The fact that they just leave the hard point so early, the only time that really paid off was the fact that they were able to rotate early into P4. Got majority of the points, that's where they kind of caught up just a tiny bit, and then it's just like the same case over and over again into that restart. But that's what they need to know, is the fact that they need to contest the hill before going into the rotate, or just like send half of your team, because most of the time they just sent the whole team into that early rotation.
Yeah, I think the Chinese teams tend to have a more dedicated OBJ player as well, whereas a lot of the Western teams will have everybody kind of work as a flex OBJ, and people understanding, okay, if this guy's on the inside of the objective, I need to go here. If I'm playing the objective, I know that I can trust him to go to these other areas. And I think having that flexibility gives you a lot more options, especially when it comes to a game mode like Hardpoint. So we'd love to see some of those changes happen. Like you said, Inco needs 90 points to win. Hopefully we'll get on the screen how many Wolves need to win as well, because obviously they do have that opportunity to make the comeback happen, but they're in a rough spot right now and not a whole lot of time to close this gap.
All right. Well, while we're waiting, it's really important to note that for Wolves, they need to keep the momentum up, because at this point you don't want to be bumped down at a certain point. But we do have a bunch of other streams for you later on. We do have Wolves and Inco Gaming for our Alpha stream, 4-Hour Bravo, NYSL Mayhem, and Smart Omega. And obviously later on we do have Luminosity versus Skade. But really excited to see how those matches actually pulled through. And we have a bunch of other games for you as well. And obviously Scars and Tribe. Bobby, I'm looking forward to that one, because again, this could be an easy 3-0 for Tribe, but with how Scars is still a mystery, it's really appalling to me.
I'm really excited for Luminosity versus Skate, because I think these are potentially the two most underrated teams in the tournament. And I think this is going to be a real test of different play styles that I think that one probably has the best chance of going to a Game 5. I am interested. I don't know what to expect out of Tribe versus Scars. I'm probably still leaning the way of Tribe a little bit, but as you guys can see right here, Influence Kemen has been eliminated from the competition. Q9 Club getting the win there. Not too surprising. Q9 definitely a favorite coming into this, and they will go up against the loser of the Tribe Gaming Scars matchup.
EU getting the brunt of all of this, losing 2 teams already. Only one remains in Stamina Esports. they have a monumentous job to actually try and go up against Luminosity, but obviously they're just so good when it comes to all of this gameplay. Oh, rather, it's going to be another matchup later on. Let's see what's going to happen between Smart Omega and YSL Mayhem. Whoever is going to be losing that they're going to be going up against Stamina Esports rather. So a lot of teams, a lot of points, a lot of stats to consider here, but 4 teams, that is the one fact, are saying goodbye for today. But there you go, we're finally speaking up. We need 90 points for Inco to actually go and win this, but for Wolves, they need a lot more points as we do our restart.
All right, 154 needed for Wolves to get the W in this one. It is Wolves with a pretty hot start right there. Solid map control as Zai's going to get things pushed out, but Crozen immediately pushes it. Able to trade for 2. The high ground control actually going the way of Wolves, which is not something they were able to do well the first time around. So we'll see if they can maintain this momentum, but the SMG's having a lot more luck on this time through. Peg picking up the scrap time right there. Dad's going to be able to clear off 1, and the time continuing to go on over to Inco Gaming. Right now, all they got to do is play things even, and they get the win.
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely great gunfights for him, having a 5-kill streak, earning him a pred. That's going to be absolutely huge for Wolves, and right now they're looking like they're having a fresh start, a better start compared to a while ago, and now they're also primed in position going into P2.
Yeah, that mental reset will work wonders for you. The Switchblade was like the one weapon that I felt like nobody should be using on this map, and now he's frying everybody that he can find. He's on 12 kills as we head into P2, and he is building streaks for days. You got to think that operator is coming into play pretty soon as well. And Wolves starting out on the right foot if they want to make this comeback happen. Not too big of a lead, but if they can continue to slay like this, get that topside hardpoint control, which King is able to do, might be able to make something happen. Noel on the flank trying to flip those spawns.
I like how Wolves is actually paying more attention to the spawn now, and that's the fact that they were able to get a lot more points here. And there you go, they're still spawning off there, still getting a lot more points. 30 seconds left on the clock. That is going to be essential scrap time for them, but the rotation needs to come through, and guess who's there? Inco's already positioned.
And at this point, any death could potentially be a lethal spawn right here. We'll see. And it's actually going to be Wolves spawning behind the opposition. They're not going to get taken down by the Hunter Killer. Lucasen on the high ground doing everything he can to hold them out right here. Inco's still got some work to do if they're going to be able to close this one out. Peg on the inside, claw in hand, does get shut down. Lucasen doing everything he can right now. I'm pretty confident he's gonna hit the 60 bomb. What'd you say, 44?
It's 52 right now. Oh my goodness, this guy's absolutely cracked, and we're only at a halfway point, and we kind of want to reiterate that it all needs 90 points for Inco and 154 for Wolves to try and go and win it. So again, Wolves is actually doing a really good job. They were able to go and break this very cleanly up against Inco, and yes, Lucasen's actually doing a great job, but everyone else in his team needs to actually go and step in. That's play number 1. Rafa having a very hard time with just 5 kills.
And now we're starting to get to the point where you got to consider the importance of the kills that you're getting, because it's nice to get kills, but if they're not helping your team get into the hard point, they're not doing a whole lot for you outside the streaks and the operators that you're building. You want to go for those impact kills, and Inco's picking up a lot, but it's not turning into hard point time for them. They just need, what, 94, 96 points in order to get up and get the win on this one, but they are getting absolutely fried on the inside of the hard point. Inco's got the better spawns for this as well, and should be able to make a push on in, but right now they're very content to let Wolves continue to stack the time. They have got to do something to make a push here.
We need around 58 points left for Wolves to try and go and win this. And for Inco, well, you only need like 40, so it's still kind of doable for any of these teams. It's time game. And that's really amazing for Wolves to make a comeback for it. Now Inco finally steps into our point, and no one else from Wolves are actually going to be really near, and that's going to be essential points for them.
Lucasen continues to fry. He actually picks up a Switchblade to run with as well, and he said, all right, I'm done picking up my kills. I got my 60 bomb. It's time to play the objective and lock this one in. Only about 20 more points needed. They'll pick up the scrap time. Actually, Wolves will right here. He Taking a look at the high ground control over in the top side of P2. It's all Inco players. They're going to be able to fly down from above. That's a big feat for them and potentially opening an opportunity for them to close out this game.
12 points are needed for Inco. That is going to be really big for them. And then take a look at that. No wolves to be found because they're probably not there in the game anymore. Sayonara to you, but we're probably going to be doing another restart. But hey, that was a really interesting matchup where Wolves actually made a very interesting comeback. And for Lucasin, almost touching that 60. Did he reach it? I know he was like 3 away.
No, because he had 44 whenever. Right?
Oh, yeah? Oh,
and he had 17 when everybody left the lobby. I don't know. Maybe Wolves didn't know Wolves had another disconnect. So we're going to be playing to like 10.
Well, hey, I feel like Bobby and I definitely have this caster curse, and yes, it is now confirmed because every time we step on this stage, looks like we're going to be having some remakes at the very least for 2, but we're going to be hopping off into another matchup where Luminosity goes up against Skate, and take a look at that, how close the scoreline is. That is just something that we actually kind of predicted to be.
Yeah. It's, oh man, it is even across the board, obviously. Two very different play styles. The way that I've heard a lot of the NA teams describe Luminosity is that they're actually, like teamwork-wise, one of the best teams, one of the most cohesive teams, which I think is what makes them so dangerous. That on top of the fact they've got some dudes that can absolutely shoot straight, and that'll make for a lethal combo. They take the lead right here, up about 20 points. This typically a money hill. They don't have spawns to make the push on in, but you don't want to just give away a free 20 points. At least that would be my recommendation. Now, with getting completely wiped off the board, we may see that early rotation. That is exactly what's going to happen. That P3, I would say, one of the hardest points to break from the front side in the entire game. So I don't hate that decision for them. This setup in the backside is going to be crucial, especially if you can get Blur back there to hold things down with the SKS in hand. You got Solo Reigning Terror with the R9 in hand. We've seen him have some crazy performances on here, but oh, Leo, he said, I only need one shot to the head to take you out just like that. Skate finds the break on in.
Hunter Gillen really just doing some magic here. The drone just does a really great job at resetting the spawns right now, and obviously with Leo Zera with a claw as well. That really just gives Luminosity a little bit of a hard time when it comes to getting a solid hold, even though that they were there so early on. Skate doing such an amazing job at doing with the break, but it's a good thing that Luminosity going in there for another response, but it's going to be Skate all over again with the spawns.
Yeah, Skate has spawns, gonna lose spawns right there, and that should lock in the rest of the scrap time for Luminosity. Right now, Skate actually still looking to contest, and wow, the one tap out of the KRM, that's gonna earn some more time for Linz right there, and that, I mean, you don't want to challenge a KRM on the inside of P4. I just don't recommend it. That's gonna be tie game as we hit the rotation back to P1 right here. In absolute chaos. We got shotguns, we got LMGs, we got marksman rifles, you name it. Here in COD Mobile, we've got it all.
We've got it all for you.
Oh my gosh, these guys are absolutely going at it.
Well, for Skate, I feel like it's the first time we've seen a KRM in play. I'm not quite sure if the other ones in the other streams did, but for me, I just really like to see it in a small map like Summit. We've seen the R9, and now it's time for this particular guy in the KRM to finally be in the spotlight. 196 and 198. It's just a back and forth. I wonder how close it's going to be, and for me, it's probably going to be the timing of where they use their score streaks at the very end.
Mihawk picking up some big kills on the inside of the hard point. Blur, another one of those aggressive SKS players, and he's gonna help his team push on through to pick up some more scrap time right here. You can see the teamwork live in real time right here. They are holding hands anytime somebody gets a push on in, going for the trade. And right now it's Solo hitting the early rotation. We're gonna jump out of this one, and we are gonna watch the ending of something else. Wolves and Inco, maybe? Wolves and Inco, so we'll take a look at that scoreboard whenever they wrap up later, but obviously there's only like 10 seconds left in Wolves and Inco, so we got to see what happens there.
Well, I mean, at least Wolves, they need to enter God mode. They need to play perfect hardpoint for them to just keep themselves afloat in this hardpoint matchup. As you can see on your screen, Wolves needs 58 points to win. Inco Stalwart needs 32 points. Very doable for a comeback with Wolves, as you already know that they did an amazing job when we had that restart. But that is going to be really good. For me, really interesting game from Skate and Luminosity. Such a back and forth game. I'm really excited to see what happens later on. But for now, we're taking a look at Wolves and Inco yet again. As you can see, that is going to be a really fast push coming in from the side of Wolves, taking a lot of these points. And it looks like for Inco, they're very slow when it comes to that rotation.
I believe around 50 needed for Wolves, 30 needed for Inco. And Wolves off to a hot start right here. It's off the back of both resets have been absolutely guns blazing. And Neon pulling out the SKS. I was curious if we were going to see that counter. He's got 3 kills to his name already. Inco pushes in. Every second matters at this point. This is a tight game. And Inco picking up every second of scrap that they can right here. Noel looking to clear things off. He's gonna, Neon, you gotta get him off the hard point. They only need about 10 more seconds to close this out right here. They might be able to do it over here on P1. Probably not gonna be feasible, but it looks like the early rotation up to P2 as well. Inco might be able to win it here.
I don't know why they went for the early rotation in P2, really. I mean, they just left the P1 just so open, and now you get to see Inco just, they're there. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's a 5-person stack going in there, but again, there's so many chances for them to just get a lot of these points, and it's going to be 34 already, and this is going to be game because everyone else from Wolves are actually so far away. And there you go. Doesn't look like the reset changed the minds of Wolves, and the momentum still going into the favor of Inco. And even though there were signs of life in that first reset, it looks like it was dropped here in our second.
Yep, that's what we were expecting, especially with the way that Lucasen was dominating. So no surprises here. It's going to be an interesting search and destroy, though. This is a very strong Wolves team. I am not as sure what to expect out of Inco. Obviously, we saw some crazy plays from Skade, who was number 2 in the region. So you got to expect Inco has some decent reps going up against them. Not sure who to expect the actual snipers in their hands, but they're going to be looking to close this one out early on if possible, so they can lock in a spot in the playoffs.
And once we do reach that control matchup, it just is that swing mode where it's always a question mark. We don't know what's going to happen, but honestly, with the amount of performance that we saw a while ago from Inco, it just looks like they might actually have the upper hand when it comes to control. But obviously, that is for later on. We are moving on into our search and destroy matchup where we get to see the boys. Honestly, they're just trying to run through this very quickly because it has been a very long day. It's going to be really hard for a lot of these teams because especially for a team like, let's say, Almighty that have been playing back-to-back games, it's going to be the same here. So let's see, Slum, Search and Destroy. A little bit of a favorable map for Inco in my opinion, and Wolves, even though yes, they might be a little bit better when it comes to that search, this map just favors Inco a little bit more. Yeah,
I would agree with that. If I had to guess, this is probably an Inco map pick because it's just the one that plays the least like Search and Destroy. You can get crazy aggressive and try to counter some of those more passive play styles. I think especially with the sniping power that you got over on Wolves, Slums is probably the map that you want to go to. So we'll see if Inco can go up 2-0. You got to think if they do take that lead, the odds going way up for them is the Chinese teams have shown they can bring their A game in the Search and Destroy, still trying to find a grip in the hard point.
See, that's the whole thing, though. It's like, for Wolves, they kind of have a hard time giving a bit of a response up against the SKS of Inco, right? And we're playing in the next few maps where, okay, smaller map, Inco can probably go and perform. And for standoff, we've seen it already earlier today where the SKS absolutely shines here.
Yeah, just the ability for one player to completely dominate that entire mid lane gives you so much control over the map. It's going to require some adjustments. We even started to see that in the third segment of that hard point where Wolves players decided they're going to throw on the SKS and see if they can counter. Now, there's a big difference between equipping an SKS and using the SKS like Lucasen does, but that's at least a start for trying to counter that play style. And we'll see if they can make those adjustments here in the search and destroy as well.
It's just so interesting how all of these teams are slowly doing micro adjustments to their play as the day actually goes on. And a lot more of these teams are slowly incorporating the SKS, where regions of LATAM have been using this for the longest time. Even some players from NA, some players from EU. From Garena, we don't see it at all. From China, we don't see it that much either. And it looks like it's just a strong weapon. But now we are starting things off now. Search and destroy slums. And now it looks like it's going to be blue all over here in mid-map.
Yeah, that's a lot of map control for Inco right here. It's going to be tough for Wolves to sniff anybody out. Obviously, you probably got one SKS player just looking over top of the head glitch. And now all you're really left to do is spray through walls, hope that you find somebody, but Crozen says, I'll put you out of your misery. Takes one down, Dad finds another. Noel is taken out of the equation, but a 2v4 for Wolves. Not the start they were looking for in what was expected to be their marquee game mode.
Peg tries to go and shorten the distance, breaks it down, and there you go. That's, oh, I was gonna say that was supposed to be a good push from him, but obviously he made a lot of noise, and that just allowed them to just secure this round number 1. Going in there aggressively, just trying to take a position in mid, and there you go. That is gonna be a big opener for Inco.
Now that I think about it, I played in the tournament against Crozen as well, and he like absolutely fried my team with the Locust. So if you're Wolves, you got to find a way to counter him as well. He is nasty with it, and that's one way to counter. Just push all the way up in his face, and he doesn't have a chance to respond. Maybe a little body shooting. I love it. I want to see more of it. A 2v2 right here as Lucasen gets spotted out. One SKS bullet connects, but Zai able to get away with his life, and now all down to Dad. The 1v2, the bomb is down. And right now, a waiting game. I think he gets spotted out right there, and that should be all the information the Wolves need.
Okay, there you go. 2v1, and it looks like they're going to be sticking together. That's going to be a good sign. Use the numbers to your advantage just in case you do drop a life. You can just count on your teammates to go and save you from that. But we're gonna be going back here. Hey, hi, how's it going, y'all? Hope you guys are having fun over here. And if you're at home, don't forget to check out our other streams as well, because there's gonna be multiple streams going. We got A to D, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta just coming at you. We don't want you to miss the action, but obviously for us, we're still trying to figure things out here, but we're gonna be going back there later on.
Yeah, that was a strong start for Inco. We knew they were going to bring it, but they are looking strong in the search and destroy. So once we get everything situated on this matchup, well, I think it's going to take a lot of adjustments for Wolves to actually have a chance in this one. Like we said before, they're a streaky team. So if they get hot, they can probably run the board and win 3 straight, but it takes a couple of players starting to build that momentum for them to do it.
Yeah, take advantage of that momentum. And the readjustment that they did in that round number 2 was actually really good. I mean, they were able to go in and kind of going through the spawn, kind of invading the space of Inco. And that's one thing that you need to actually go and take. But before we get into that matchup, take a look at what we have. Whew, 4 teams already gone. 2 from Europe, 1 from India, 1 from LATAM, and now everyone else still trying to get a hold of it. But this is going to be really heartbreaking for me because it's day 1, and to see some of the names just going to be, I don't know, it's hard for me to see that.
Yep, Influence Kevin, Godlike, Strut and Nova. 2 teams already out for Europe. It is only Vitality keeping the hopes alive for India right now as they barely sneak through with the win over Strut. But they're going to have to face the loser of this one. And, I mean, you look at it, they've already gone up against... Did they go against Inco in the first round?
Yes.
Okay, well, we know that they didn't have much of a chance against Inco.
Seeding is just very unfortunate.
Wolves is another team that has looked very, very solid, and they've been able to run it close with Inco, so you got to think the odds of Vitality making it out, not super high, but they showed a lot of resiliency, especially in their matchup against Strut. I think especially if you look at the performance we saw out of Sams and Jokos, the 2 twins, those guys are bringing it today, so if they can put the team on their back, maybe carry them to the promised land.
Dang, those two are so nasty. I mean, they're so good when it comes to just being in very clutch situations. But again, another team that I just wanted to say that is the only one representing their region, that's going to be Stamina, the only European team, the hope for Europe. And well, let's see how they're going to be faring up later on into their matchup. But Stamina is just going to be waiting. They need to find a way, especially from that loss up against Omega. They were able to get that 3-0 up against Godlike, but we're going to be waiting whoever is going to be winning, NYSL or Omega. Is it going to be a remake between Omega and Stamina again going into the lower qualifiers, or will NYSL play Stamina for the first time here in this competition?
I was watching that matchup a little bit on one of the side screens, and I think there was a disconnect, but whenever that happened, I'm pretty sure Omega was up pretty significantly. So looks like they are off to a strong start. And obviously, you got your Garena brothers in Almighty that got knocked down to the lower bracket. Still trying to represent. They are not out for the count yet, but I think a lot of people expected two Garena teams heading into day 2. And it looks like they are on schedule for that if they keep their momentum.
Yeah, Almighty just had a shaky start, and obviously for Omega just doing an amazing run, giving Stamina a 3-0, and now just bringing them into a lower bracket round 1. But for Almighty though, still, they get another lifeline, and as they're waiting later on, they're definitely going to be giving us another really good qualifier. But that's going to be in Group D, so whoever wins Skate versus Luminosity, whoever loses that, they're going to be meeting Almighty into the lower qualifier, which I still think is probably one of the hardest things to predict, honestly, in my end. That's going to be Group D.
Yep, that's, whew, man, that's going to be a real heartbreaker for anybody down there because there's so much talent in that group. I think I maybe slept on that group because I didn't understand how good Skate was going to be. But the fact that one of those teams is automatically getting knocked out is kind of mind-boggling to me. And whew, that is going to be a spicy elimination game.
I mean, I feel like for every single group, we do have like a little bit of a spicy game that we have here. But speaking of Skate and Luminosity, we're going to be hopping on into their matchup where we actually saw Luminosity and Skate just have a close hard point in Summit. And we didn't really get to see the end of that, but you can see over there on the screen, Luminosity having that 1 point. And now for Skate, you need to go and play catch up because you don't want to give Luminosity a 2-0.
Yep. Right here, we got a 2v2. Bomb's going to go down the hands of Blur. He's got Washi at his back. One of the best snipers in North America, no question about it. And he's going to go ahead and back up right here. Waiting for the flank. Nobody really in position to do that for Skate. Lins sees him hopping. Or I thought he saw him hopping right there, but I guess not. Washi has been known to have some crazy sniper angles. And it seems like they're both kind of clueless as to the other location, but Pabzera going to come through. Washi showing why he's one of the best snipers in all of North America. Lynn's going to be able to take down one, but Washi pulls out that shorty. I was curious if we were going to see that a little bit more this weekend, and coming in pretty handy right there to close out the round.
I didn't even realize that he saw Pab was going to be there. I feel like it was just reflexes at that point. It's just so amazing how all these players just so good when it comes to the movement. And now a 4-man push coming in from Skate though up in the back alley where they're going to be greeted by 2 other players, and that is well read actually by Luminosity.
Yeah, he's just so nasty with it. He knows there's one player on the inside of gas station as well. Less than 2 rounds in, and Washi already with 5 kills to his name. The bomb's going to go down, and now the pressure on for Skate. Hit the retake right here. You got Pabzera looking down that mid lane. Doesn't realize Solo is on the inside of Graveyard right here, and they're going to make their way into the bomb site, but you still got to deal with Envy over on those boxes. Head glitch. Solo gonna somehow get away. Envy finds 1. Mihawk's able to take down 1, make it 2, and now he's got to deal with Washi. He's been a menace all game long. He's gonna throw a nade through perfectly positioned right there. Reads it like a book. Nade is not timed properly. Mihawk goes big, clutch after clutch today.
This is the second 1v3 Mihawk actually got. Oh my goodness, not only that, enough time for him Paytm to go in there for the defuse. What a way to get your first round, and Luminosity, you had the upper hand. Don't fall victim to what happened a while ago with Skade.
You know, I asked a bunch of pro players who they thought was going to be MVP for Stage 5. And I asked Mihawk, and he said himself, and now I'm starting to understand why he said that. So many big clutches for this guy right here, and he has got the ice in his veins, no question about it. Opener right there. Washi's out of the equation, which, with the way Luminosity's been playing so far, not a great sign for them. Band gonna fly over top, but that's a deagle to the face. Envy there for the trade. It's gonna be a 3v1 right here. Leo's in backed way up, and that is a lot of missed deagle shots, and you gotta think that's likely the end of the round. Solo gets the information. He's gonna be forced back right here, but seeming to be only a matter of time. That looked like a super doable kill, but maybe just a little bit of COD timing didn't go his way. And Luminosity retakes the lead.
Okay, good shots coming in from Luminosity. They knew to pick up the pace in that particular round, and I feel like that information coming through. Mihawks actually took a lot of damage there, but kind of was able to save his life, and Leosin gets that one, finally gets 2 kills to his name. Very rush approach here coming in from the side of Luminosity. That's going to be really big for them.
Yep, it's Solo ends up paying for that one. Leo off to a little bit of a slow start in this one, but, you know, takes a little bit of time to build momentum. Washi, 8 kills to his name already, and Envy's going to be able to get the plant down right here. Washi just continues to punish. He's on 9 already. I think he hit the weapon expect as that round finished right there, and I think we are going to hop back into Wolves versus Inco. Their S&D match getting started back up right here. So we'll see, but
well,
coming off the end of that one, Luminosity looked like they were very much in the driver's seat, very much in the hands of Washi's dominance.
So good. I mean, we already know that Skade is a really talented team, but I feel like the aggression that they have, they're just leaning more towards that momentum and just trying to figure out if they can do the 1v3 clutches, which honestly, that should be the last thing that you need to worry about is to do, and just leave yourself in a situation where you're down in numbers. But for Luminosity, they're just so good at handling what they have with such efficiency. And now we're finally stepping into Inco versus Wolves yet again, where very, very passively both of these teams, and nothing's moving so far.
Yep. At a little bit of a stalemate right now. Nobody for Wolves wants to make their way through those entryways, and Inco's got the map control, so they don't have any issue with the current situation. It is going to be Rafa finding the opener right there. Ching able to find one, or rather get the major assist. Lucas in there. He said, I can do it with anything. I'll pull out the Krieg and cook you as well. Gets the major assist here. Now all down to King. He's in a tough spot right now. He's going to be able to find one. It seems like Dad knows where he is. He knows exactly where he is. Drops him with the SKS in hand, and just like that, it is going to be Inco back into the lead.
Again, they just have no response when it comes to the SKS or even any kind of like long-range engagement. So since we did start that S&D a while ago, this actual scoreline is going to be 2-0 in favor of Inco. So that's going to be something to keep in mind. So just in case you're going to be, you know, curious as to how the scoreline is going to be. But there you go. Oh, King goes in there for the knife kill. Very ballsy move. That's going to be okay. That's going to be impressive. But unfortunately for him, he does drop his life. And now we're going very deep into Alpha, where 3 players are going to be surrounded in Inco.
Ooh, Crozin, maybe a little too aggressive right there. I like that he picks up the kill, but Zai said, okay, this is my locus now. He's able to punish as well. Lucasen, the only one remaining, and the bomb going down over on the A site. Not a whole lot for him to work with. Going to try to find somebody out of position, but they're packed in there pretty tight, and it looks like they're going to have the read on his positioning as well. I believe it is Zai that pushes through, so should be a free kill. And yep, as soon as you don't get that kill, that should be round over. They get the information, they get the player alive as well, and with only 15 seconds, there's not going to be enough time for him to pick up all of these kills. Neon shuts things down real quick, and now Wolves finds their first round of the game.
2-1 is going to be the scoreline for this matchup. And again, that was really good coming in from Wolves. They went in very aggressively into Alpha. And for Inco, they had no response whatsoever. It looks like playing fast is something that Wolves actually, that is going to be an advantage for them, but they are going to slow things down just a tiny bit. Also for Inco as well, they're going to be slow when it comes to that defense.
Yep. It's working. It worked for Wolves last round, trying to bait Inco into a big push. The thing is, not really Inco's play style, so you got to try to make some pressure somewhere on the map, and right now they're waiting for the snipers to connect. Neon not going to be able to do that so far. Still got a minute and a half to work with, and now Wolves starting to get aggressive right there. The flashbang connects, Peg finds two. That's the aggression that we're used to seeing out of the Chinese teams, and just like that, they're going to force their way on over toward that B bomb site. Lucason's going to be able to retaliate. Zai, Neon trades left and right, and now all down to Lucason. The bomb is down in the mid-map, but I'm not sure Lucas actually knows. And right now, he's going to go ahead and set up behind the bomb heady, but the task at hand for Wolves to retrieve that bomb and try to make a decision.
You're going to be Wolves, you better hold hands, because if you're going to go up against Lucason, you already know that he can definitely pick you out one by one, especially if he does have that SKS in hand. But for now, it's going to be the Crit 6. Information pulls through that one player coming in from Wolves are actually going to be going in through pillars. And as he knows, both of the players are probably going to be there into pillars as well. So how is he going to play this, knowing that eyes are on him?
Ooh, maybe could have used a little more trigger discipline right there. Tries to bait Neon with a second one. Beams onto Zai. Whoa, not sure where he's going with that one, but still in a position to clutch it up. Wants the 1v2, and it's his. He goes big. Another big round for Inco Gaming.
All Neon had to do was the play time. He kept on going into the same spot. I mean, it's just a matter of, it's something that's so simple. It's just like, you know you're going to be the only one there. If you go back to that old place where you know that Inco, that Lucason's going to be scoped in, just go back to Arches, go back into that other spot. But very beautifully played coming in from Lucas, and that's going to be really big for them. 3-1 is going to be the scoreline.
Yep, they're in a great spot right now. Big clutches on clutches, and the aggression pays off for Wolves once again, but can they find a way to finish it? That's been the question for them so far. Ching going to be able to find another one onto Dad. Now only 2 players remain, but one of them is Lucason. So that's not a great sign. Crozen was popping off in the first entry into the game. Hasn't quite been able to find that same success so far, but he's in a position where they might be able to get a view on the cross if they can take out this one Wolves player. The thing is, no close range oriented guns, and they're going to be able to find one, but now Crozen trying to clutch up in total a 1v4.
With 25 seconds left on the clock, that seems to be very difficult as Neon seals the deal and Wolves finally gets one. 3-2 is the score line for now. That was a really good sign for Wolves because they wanted to rush into that Bravo flag, and that's going to be really big for them. And actually for Inco, they were pushed back very much. They were too passive in that particular round, and that just kind of gave them a hard time when it comes to going in for that retake.
Yep. Another big round for Wolves, one away from tying things up. Obviously, we do have that unseen +1 round for Inco Gaming right now, so we'll see if they can fire back, but it's a calculated aggression that we're seeing out of Wolves. It's not necessarily, hey, it's the first second of the game, we're just going to rush into mid and see what happens. They kind of evaluate, they look at the lines of sight, they see where Inco is, and then based off that, they make those pushes. They use the stuns and flashes to check those off angles. And right now, Crozen's going to be the man to make the plays. They're looking to peek mid, but I'm not sure who timing really goes in favor of. I'm going to say overall probably Wolves because Crozen has no idea they made the cross right there. And once again, that calculated aggression, the question is, when are Wolves going to make that push?
Wolves is just so good when it comes to adjusting their pace, and usually they wait for Peg to actually make that first blood. He's been so good at getting those first opening picks, and there you go, Ching. That is going to be vital information for him to actually go and get that. Gets that one SKS kill, and speaking of Peg himself, he's going to go down. That's going to give a hard time coming in from Wolves, but hey, they're going to be leaving that Bravo side open, looking like they want to go in for the infiltration, gets rid of the flank, but also gets traded out.
Not sure what was happening right there, but
No, me too.
you know, the winner of the gunfight is the winner. Not a whole lot of time for the defuse. Lucas in. Crucial snipe with the DLQ in hand right here. You still got one player in the backside of garage that you got to deal with in Neon. He's not going down without a fight, but neither is Lucas in. He's going to go ahead and not hop the bomb right here. If Chink can play time, maybe it's possible, but just not quite enough. That's going to be back to a 2-round lead for Inco Gaming.
Wolves they just did so well when it comes to that plant, but the post-plant situation wasn't that big. They left Bravo a little bit too open, and now let's see what happens again. You're watching here, Wolves versus Inco Gaming. I don't know what's gonna happen now.
Yep, flipping sides to make sure that everybody gets the proper amount of offensive and defensive sides, which, especially on a map like Slums, you want to make sure that that's happening. It's a very, very difficult offensive map. So we're going to go ahead and make the switch. It does look like on one of our other broadcast matches, we've got Omega versus NYSLM resuming. Obviously, some points being distributed based off the start of that one, but still lots of COD Mobile action ahead of us today. We have yet to send anybody to the playoffs, and that's the #1 objective for each and every one of these teams. 4 teams down for the count already. Excited to see these finishers and who we're going to be watching on Saturday.
And here we go. Speaking of the two teams, Hardpoint in takeoff, 15-8 is going to be the scoreline versus NYSL Mayhem versus Smart Omega. There you go. 20 seconds left in this P1, and you're watching the Bravo stream. Hi, welcome to the Bravo stream, where we get to see amazing action as well. And now for Omega, really big opening picks as well, just stopping the push coming in from Mayhem. And the setup for P2, both of these teams already sending one person in.
Yep, it's pretty even off the start. Not a great sign for Mayhem, as I believe overall points-wise they are at a deficit. And right now Nero needs to find this kill. That's going to be a crucial one right there. Leaving his teammates in the bottom side to win the gunfights on the outside. He knows his job as the OBJ man. Risky, going to push up. Big kill right there. Last bullet to connect is all that he needs. Little B trying to win one. He does that. Kendi on the backside able to get one for himself as well. And that's a huge break for Omega. Might be enough for them to close it out right here. Is, I believe, only about 50 points needed for them to get the W on this one. The slow starting NYSL team just having a difficult time adjusting as Ravallo pushes up. Is going to be able to find 2. Tough to say who's going to come out on top in this one.
I think Whoopi was able to kill with a stun. That is just really good. And after that, followed up with a grenade, and Risky tries to go in there for that solo push. And now Whoopi's going to be the only one left, but is greeted by 3 other players. They're really trying so hard to close this out in this particular hill, but obviously they need to go in there for the respawn and also for the rotate, rather.
Looks like players for both teams trying to hop in the hard point right here. It is NYSL winning the opener right there. Pretty close to a tie game between the two. The Purifier's going to come out for Whoopi. Not the best position, but if he can get into the hard point, it will be. He does not, and that's part of the reason I was a little bit suspect of his decision to do that, because he used a couple of shots off of it. Not going to get any recharge either, and another Purifier going to get immediately shut down, and this looking like it could turn into a money hill for NYSL. Not sure how big the point gap is right now, or if it's a total restart, but NYSL looking pretty dominant here on P3.
Well, I don't know about that, because player number 3 coming in from Omega, Rage, is not going to be moving. So that's definitely going to be a really big deal for how Omega's going to be moving. A really essential player is not going to be moving for them. So it's going to be a 4v5 situation right now, as you get to see some of the points already being gathered by Smart Omega here. And the restart going into that rotate is finally pushed through here in P4.
Looks like he has reconnected right there. Now the battle over on P4 ensuing once again. Idra shut down with claw in hand. Shots from behind. Able to connect as well. Kendi locks in spawns for his team. Omega needs 62 to win. That's only 4 more points. NYSL holding on by a thread right here. Kendi continually re-peeking Purifier in hand, and there's nobody on the point for NYSL. You gotta keep somebody in there as much as you can. Right now, they continue to pick up the time, but there is zero margin for error.
Not quite sure why the Purifier was even there in the first place. I mean, at this point, you just want to know that it's definitely going to be a claw and gravity vortex type of situation where there's 2 more points coming from Omega. You need to just close out 2 more points, and they're just having such a hard point. But we're going to be moving away because there will be a disconnect from Smart Omega versus NYSL Mayhem, Bobby. This is too much. I'm anxious. Who's gonna be our first team to go into the playoffs? It looks like, you know, Lady Luck is not on our side because she's stalling. But Wolves and single stalwart, we still don't have an action
She really
either.
freaking is, I tell you what. Oh my gosh, she is just.
She's trolling us.
It's a freaking filibuster out here with. I don't even know, but. Taking a look at some of the other matches happening right now, we do have that Luminosity versus Skade matchup. Luminosity in the lead, 2-0. They do take the win in the Search and Destroy. We've also got the first game of our Scars versus Tribe matchup happening right now. Tribe's not giving up a single point. It's 25-0, but it's only P1, so there's a long way to go. But if I'm looking correctly, there's a lot of streaks in play already, which not a great sign for Scars.
Well, taking a look at our Alpha stream, Inco, they're going to be leading 4-2 up against the Wolves. So that's going to be really impressive, really important 2 rounds for them to have that advantage. But obviously, there's still a chance for Wolves to make a comeback. But again, if you're just watching right now, take a look at our other streams while you're going to be waiting for our main stream of the day. Because it's going to be do or die for Skade, because it's going to be a last resort. They need to win this, make a reverse sweep if they want to stay in here. But speaking of, we're going to be headed towards this matchup here in Slums Control. 5-10. That's going to be Skade with a life advantage here.
Yep. It looks like they are actually on the offensive side. So if you can get an offensive round to win off the start of this could be a huge advantage for them. Blur just kind of ratting it out in spawn, but he's going to get taken down, and that is a huge opening round for Skade. Especially when you get your backs up against a wall, 2-0, to be able to win an opener on offense. That's, I mean, that just makes your life so much easier.
That is a statement, and that is a really good start coming in from Skade, because you're going to be, you know, ending things really well. But here we go. Finally, very aggressively, Skade goes in there, tries to go in there for the win. But Lin's goal opens things up, actually, with a nade to play with. And now we get to see some kind of control. Actually, I was going to say there was a really good control coming from Luminosity, but just as I said that, no control whatsoever from any of these teams when it comes to the spawns.
Yep, right now, Envy gonna stand up, drops one. Oh, clean 2-piece right there. That's big for Luminosity as they look to get pushed up, but the bigger issue at hand, you have no objectives captured. You want to pick up these kills anywhere that you can, but you got to pay attention to the clock, and Leo's in firing back. He's got a Pred missile to use if he wants it. Keeping an eye on those operators as well, 4 available for each team, and you got to think with this basically being a tie round right now, more than likely, those going to start to come in as we do see Ban popping a claw. Pepzera doesn't seem to hear the footsteps from Solo pushing up on that backside of B.
Enemy taking B.
And that is going to open up the B site for Luminosity to make the push on in. They've got the life, or actually, they had the life advantage. It is going to be no surprise. Leo's in, eliminating some of those from the equation. He's got some streaks as well. Now sitting on a Pred missile. Oh, and he's trying to spawn trap, but the spawn protection coming in handy for Luminosity.
And that's going to be really big for Leosin, trying to go in there for the spawn trap, trying to control it, but he's going to get shut down by Ban, knowing very well that that's going to be really tricky if left unattended, and they were able to capture that Bravo flag, but this is where things get very tricky if you are going to be in the offense, where it turns into a TDM once you try and get that A. It looks like there's going to be a possibility for that. I thought it was going to be a double kill, but no, they actually got no one.
Yep, I believe hit a trophy system right there, so no kills to be found. Right now, Mihawk backed up, and if you're Skade, all you gotta do, sit on the inside of this zone, and that just hold your head glitches, hold your angles. Shouldn't be too very difficult. Mihawk's got an entire dumpster that he can hide behind, and Luminosity, it's all about the tactical usage. You need some smokes, you need some stuns to open up an entry into this hard point. Lynn's going to be able to find one before he gets traded out, but Pavzera continues to fire away. Some of those operators coming out. Maybe a little bit of desperation as we see Luminosity trying to find a way to clutch this one up, but even here on the flip side, not able to make anything happen. Only 2 lives remaining. Looks like it's going to be a 2-0 lead for Skade off the start.
Very good start from Skade. Now that is definitely going to be something they needed, especially if they want to go and continue this and bring it into a game number 4. But they need to win this defensive or offensive side rather. That's going to be good because in the first half they did so well when it comes to the offense. They can definitely close this out.
He fires back, doing everything that he can to make some pressure up towards that capture zone, but right now Luminosity just struggling to get into their power positions. They've got a one-man advantage right here, but Skade has been so sneaky finding those angles, getting the timings right. Right now it's I believe we're gonna hop back into the Wolves versus Inco Gaming matchup. Is they're gonna be looking to finish up that one. What mode are we in?
We're still in Search and Destroy, where Wolves and Inco Star Wars. It's still, I mean, we're still here in Slum, so technically we never left. It's just we're just changing around the teams that we have. Still trying to fix up a lot of the, you know, the little doo-doos that we have over here when it comes to our alpha stream. But hey, be entertained with our other streams as well. We have 2 going on simultaneously, as we saw NYSL Mayhem and Smart Omega. They're just chill. They're waiting for their next matchup. For now though, Scars versus Tribe up next. 176 and 83 is going to be their score line. And then for Luminosity and Skade, you saw it a while ago, that's going to be a 2-0. But as we hop into the matchup, we're going to go straight in. As Fang, really big kill coming in from it. The 4v3 situation with Wolves getting the numbers down.
That was a disgusting wallbang headshot. Able to connect right there. I believe that was Crozen making it happen, but even with that happening, it is still Wolves with life advantage. Beef Mommy, do you remember the score?
4-2 is the score line.
4-2, that's right.
Yeah.
Inco's winning.
Yeah, Inco is winning, so they need 3 more to win this. Yes, and for Wolves, obviously, they still have a long journey. But hey, just two rounds in between them, that's not too bad, especially knowing very well that they are very positioned well. And now, it's really good that for Inco, they're trying to gather that information, trying to get that first opening pick, and that is information for them. Shots are being fired. At least they know one person's going to be right there, but it's a matter of how many players are they going to be greeted with, and the answer is going to be 3.
Somebody's going for the wall bang right there. Not going to be able to connect, but big feed for Wolves right there. They shut that one down quickly, and definitely a much needed round. That brings us to 4-3 at the scoreboard. And the calculated aggression, once again, paying off for them big time, is just waiting for the opportune moment. The utility usage, I feel like the utility usage is the one thing that differentiates these Chinese players when it comes to the search and destroy. The angles that they're putting those stuns, the spots that they've got their trophies, their smokes, everything is very intentional. You're not seeing anybody, oh, it's the start of the round, I'm just gonna throw my nades and see what happens. Everything is done very intentionally, and it's paid off for them so far, as Wolves now in a position to tie things up.
That is a point that I actually really wanted to bring up, and now they're closing in the gap where Wolves is only 1 round in between them. Mind you, the score now is 4-3, and now Inco slowing things down just a tiny bit. Honestly, I didn't really like their play a while ago, because that's 3 players up against 3 players where they didn't even check alpha if it was going to be free, and it was only 1 player there. And there you go. They just went in there blind. And let's see if they're going to be creating the same mistake here. They're going to be slowing things down. No, that is one information for them. So Crozen, that's going to be one essential thing, knowing very well that's going to player number 5. That's going to be Nian. But again, it's still a stalemate.
And Crozen, so close to finding the right jump angle on that, but just inches away from spotting Wolves player. It is man advantage for Inco right here. Whoa, and the hit marker onto Neon. I believe actually trading hit markers. Neither player are going to be able to find the kill, and we continue the stalemate, but there's only 30 seconds left. If you're Inko, you got to make a decision. You would think, especially with a man advantage, if you got any utility left, now is the time to use it, but the waiting game is not one that they're winning right now. Crozen's going to drop. Ching able to find the kill right there. Peg finds 2, and you can see that you're just waiting too long. Wolves capitalizing in a big time, but 3 kills back the opposite direction. And just like that, there's only 1 Wolves player left. You got to get the bomb down. Does he read it properly? The drop shot.
Oh my gosh.
Lucasen dumpsters him.
We don't see that often anymore. The drop shot, it's still supreme, I guess. But hey, that won them around. And now, okay, we're back to square one coming in from Wolves. We get to see it. Inko with 5, Wolves with 3. And I feel like that worked out for them very well. It could have been a really sticky situation for Wolves to be in, but there you go. Hey, bomb's gonna be going down. Zai gets really essential kills. King with a nade shot. 3 people going in from that Bravo defense, and only 1 person from Inko is gonna be in Alpha. I mean, Wolves rather. That's gonna be Ching. And now bomb's gonna go down in a very tricky spot.
King says, I've got an SKS of my own. You can hear the bullets whizzing past your head right there. Lucasen's going to be able to connect, and once again down to a 3v3. Bomb is down. I believe that's over on the mid-map side. It looks like Dad's just going to kind of hold this head glitch and hope that he can get somebody to peek. And of course, as soon as he leaves, King says, okay, I'll take up residence on top of this head glitch. Nobody here to really start the engagement, and once again, it is Inko that needs to go pick up the bomb right now. So you got Crozen way on the other side of the map, trying to hit some of those jump angles, but not able to find any information really, and now King in a position where he might be able to find Dad. It seems like Dad knows, oh my gosh, the double headshot. Just mastering the art of the SKS. You can shoot through that?
That's so good.
They know everything that I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and Neon, you got hit
Potatoes that shot. Tries to go in there for 2 shots, misses both of them. 3v2 though, still very difficult for Neon because it's just really hard going in for close range engagements. And now Crozen, speaking up, takes the deagle out. Okay, we're going in for 6-3. 1 more round coming in for Inko for them to win this. And Wolves, they're going to be in a very hard position to be in because it's going to be control all over again, where we thought that S&D might be the game mode that they can actually pull through.
Yeah, and you can see, like, despite all the good plays that we've seen out of Wolves so far, a lot of it's just instincts that's carrying Inko through this one, and it's getting them the win. Couple kills to open up right here for Wolves, and just like that, I'm praising Inko, and Wolves is absolutely picking them apart. You know, Lucasen's right there, and he doesn't have anywhere that he can go. Should be able to get out of this position, but those pre-fires going to give away his location as well, and should be a very easy to close out round for Wolves right here. Bomb is down as well. It wouldn't even take a miracle. It would just take a lot of mistakes for Wolves if Lucasen's going to clutch this.
Well, lucky for him, Wolves is actually going to be staying put. I mean, more of like unlucky for him. They're just staying put. They're not going to be overextending. That's going to be really good for Wolves. Solid defense. The only way he could actually pull through is that he needs to find a way, probably by the 30-second mark, to try and retrieve the bomb. He's just gathering as much information as he can, going around the way through, and looks like he's going to be going through that B-bomb site, probably up through pillars, where he's going to be greeted by 1 player, and after that, greeted by another. So I feel like it's very doable because player number 4 is just so deep into Alpha that if Lucasen actually gets that 2-piece, it's very possible for him to clutch up this 1v3.
Yep, Neon on the bottom side. He's finally going to read it, shuts down Lucasen, and keeping the hopes alive for Wolves. It is now 6-4 if my math is correct on that one. And they haven't looked bad on this side. It just hasn't been dominant enough to expect that they're going to be able to really run through this one. Lucasen continues to dominate. He's now got 7 kills on the board. Noel, please stay in the lobby. Please stay in the lobby. Please stay in the lobby.
Please stay in the lobby. We're begging you. Stay in the lobby. We're going to finish this really quick. But there you go. Peg goes in there for the kill. The first kill for Wolves. Still a 3v4 situation. I'll make that 3v3 as Inko is going to be losing a life and Wolves even things out. Crow's in though. Gets rid of Ching. Bomb's going to be going down though. That's going to be really hard for Inko to go in. But that yet again just knows it so fast, and Lucasin goes in there. There you go. That is going to be game 4, Search and Destroy, where everything was just so fast. That is just amazing way to close out the round and show everyone who's boss. I mean, valiant effort for Wolves though, because I feel like you made a really good point. When it comes to the Chinese teams, they're so good at using their util, but it's just not enough sometimes, you know?
Yep. We have a couple other games finishing up as well. I believe it is Skade taking the control over Luminosity, so that keeps their hopes of automatically advancing alive. We also have Tribe versus Scars happening right now. Tribe winning map 1 pretty convincingly, and now hopping into the Search and Destroy. We'll see if maybe Scars has something to counter, as that is the only game mode that Tribe's lost so far.
Yeah. And for S&D, let's see if Scars can actually go and pull through. But obviously, taking a look at your screen, Wolves, they need to win this control matchup. It's going to be a possible reverse for them if they can go and perform. But again, speaking of the boys of Scars and Tribe, again, it's going to be a red and red situation here. Very quietly.
We're on the Delta stream, and this is my first time ever watching Scars in a major tournament. I think? Well, no, I watched them in Stage 5 last year, but it's my first time watching them in Stage 5 this year, so that's all that really matters. They actually take round 1 off a Tribe. It looks like Tribe only picking up 1 kill in the entirety of the round, so maybe somewhat of a S&D specialist region, much similar to China. We know that they've played against them pretty extensively, but for the most part, they just scrim against iPad or tablet warriors. So we'll see if maybe they've got something to pull out of their pocket here in the S&D, and obviously the control being the swing mode, and a couple openers right here for Tribe looking to fire back. The bomb is down in the mid steps. Not sure it's visible though.
Bomb is going to go down in a very tricky spot.
Enemy has
Numbers, though, still going into the favor of Tribe, and even more so now as Vay gets that pick. But Rio was able to get Jez away from them, a very essential player. Bolu gets Mike. That's going to be a 1v4 situation, something that's not going to be pretty for Rio to go and get. And speaking of, Vay finishes the job. A 1-1. Best of 5 in this series, and so far, Tribe does have that hardpoint matchup, and now target to 7 for this S&D, for possibility of Scars to try and capture that 1 more point.
Yeah. Right now, it looks like pretty aggressive push on over toward that A site, actually making their way up through mid steps. Bolu able to connect on the first one. Not sure if that was a wallbang. I like glanced away at the worst time possible, but Mike fires back. Mike feels wrong, but so does Mick, so I don't really know what to say. Right now, Fake spots Mike or Mick, and it looked like he had the angle to shoot back, but I guess maybe a little bit tunnel vision on top laundry, whatever it is, and not going to be able to connect on a kill that would be really big to find as an opener. We are in a 4v4, and it looks like they're just going to kind of leave the bomb down to the outside of Zigzag. Nobody wants to challenge Bolu, and Fake, he's just untouchable on the head glitch. He's going to be able to take down Mike. And just like that, Hamster left to try to clean things up once again. It looks like they're seeing him. Maybe it's an FOV thing. I don't know entirely what it is, but regardless, keeping things even. 3 players apiece.
Tribe playing for the retake. They already probably know by now that it's going to be a Bravo plan, 3v3 situation. 2 players going in through kitchen, and 1 player going in through the flank, going in through spawn garage. That's going to be a really big deal. They need to go and wait for the rest of the teammates. And that information where everyone else from Scars are actually going to be. 1 person from Scars, though, that's going to be Rio, going in for that top laundry control. But Bolu, yet again, getting rid of Fantagen. That's going to be really big for him. Tectonic gets Hamster. A 1v3 situation all of a sudden, and they're just so patient when it comes to infiltrating this Bravo site. And now for Bolu, looking to get that 4th, tries to go in for the shots, and there you go, speaking of the man himself, gets it, and with enough time to spare to go in there for their defuse.
Yep. perfect timing for Tribe on that one. Calculated on the retake, and that's going to give them the lead. So obviously you get Scars taking round one, but you know, anybody can take round one. It's all about who takes the next 13 rounds or however many more there are. It looks like Bolu's having the time of his life, sniper in hand. He's recently filled out that sniper role to perfection, rocking the double snipers right now as Jez is doing the same. Marshy just doing Marshy things. I'm not really sure what the objective was there, but you know, he's alive and maybe just trying to bait out some shots. Not going to be able to do that, but it is going to be Scars getting pushed up into the mid-map here.
Very slowly, both of these teams are playing so passively as the bomb is actually going to be through mid. Looking like there's no mid control whatsoever coming in from Tribe, but doesn't really matter. Jez gets those beautiful kills to his name, almost getting that third, but Jin actually able to get the trade, but bomb's going to be going down. One player though, player number 3 from Scars, that's going to be big. Rio's going to be awarded for his patience. Bolu, though, yet again, still very scary on the sniper. He's doing a fantastic job at stopping the push and just being one of the biggest obstacles coming in from Scars.
That's the thing about Bolu's snipes. Like, he's not going to be a flashy sniper, but he's going to make the right read. He's going to be patient. He's not going to ego gel anybody, and he's still going to get just as many kills as the guy that's running around, spamming his weapon swap, spinning in circles, and ego gelling everybody off of head glitches. So right now, he has played a big role in Tribe taking this lead. And Rio in a tough spot right now. Still, he's sticking with that Peacekeeper. He loves his Peacekeeper, but not really in a great spot. And picking up that bomb, going to give away crucial information. With only 16 seconds, he's just got to pray Tribe doesn't check the plant.
Well, they already know it because they checked Alpha a while ago, so it's impossible he's going to be there, and then he's going to be stopped. Marshy goes in there with the CBR kills. Nice work. Thank you for playing, and there you go. That's going to be Tribe all the way. And by the way, if my voice becomes a little bit deeper, I'm just going to be coughing just a tiny bit, but I think with Bobby, I'm going to give you a little bit of a boost here.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. I hope you feel better, and I hope that your voice recovers, Beef Mommy.
Yeah. Hi, I'm not Beef Mommy, I'm Shift.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Last man
All right.
standing.
Know each other.
Finish it.
Excuse me? Who are you?
We know each other.
Oh, okay, if you say so.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I do.
What are your thoughts on the matchup at hand?
You know, I'm glad that you asked, because I've been watching. Here's the thing. Tribe's really good.
Yeah, I think so.
They're really, really good.
I think they're
like,
pretty
The thing
good.
about this entire series so far, at least from my perspective, kind of watching in the green room, was like Scars isn't playing terribly bad. It's just Tribe is better.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I would agree with that. They've made some good pushes. They've read angles, but it just seems like I think the communication is one of the biggest game changers for Tribe, because it seems like at every turn, even if somebody dies, they know exactly where to find that guy, and the trades are almost instantaneous. So, and maybe some of these slightly more aggressive pushes can catch Tribe off guard, but if you're taking slow, methodical pushes every single time, Tribe's going to make you pay.
And I think the biggest problem that we're starting to see in this search and destroy is once the numbers start to get dwindled away, Scars look a little lost on how do we regroup and like get ourselves actually fulfilling something, whereas like you mentioned, Tribe is just so good at working off one another. Great mid-map control right here. This is a problem for Scars, and you can see exactly why Bolo taking out Fishbone means that just by himself, can't get out of red.
Nice work.
Yeah, this, you know what? I'm not making any predictions. I'm done caster cursing myself. But Tribe looks very good, and I think that Tribe's odds in this one, I'm not sure that Scars is quite on the level of Q9 in being able to close a gap as big as this one is right now. But we do also tend to see momentum shift a little bit whenever we flip sides, just because that's the way that COD Mobile works. So it is going to be first blood for Scars right there. Marshy taken out of the equation. And now, especially with Fishbone push way up, that puts Tribe in a rough spot.
Really, it's all over the map. The only thing that Scars doesn't have intel on is what's going on towards bedroom. But with number 2 and Fontage's trying to snipe over through kitchen, you're not really going to get a chance to do too much with that. But how about the breakdown here from Tribe? Nade over the top. You isolate the corner. Fortunately, Rui was able to find 2. That will keep this play largely in favor of Scars as Bolo's last left live.
And this is kind of what we saw in Tribes S&D versus Q9 as well, looking very, very dominant on the defensive side of things, but not quite as decisive on the offense. And it's definitely made this round, at least so far, a lot more difficult. So Bolu's been big for them so far. He's got 8 kills to his name. But that setup over on the B side, especially with them knowing that the bomb's down over there, going to make life pretty miserable.
I'm not going to lie, though. Scars is still trying to feel out where Bolu is, which is possibly going to lead to some opportunities for Bolu to pick up a snipe. Yeah, he sees one. Shot just a bit wide. And that all of a sudden kind of maybe has closed the gap in around him. 30 seconds. You've got number 3 in Rio is already deep in towards Garage. And yeah, this is the only play that Bolu has. He will get a 1v1 versus Fonage, and just comes down to will he hit the shot? Oh, just a bit tall.
Yeah, with that miss, that's basically the end of the round. Doesn't have bomb. You might get 2 players to chow you. You're not going to get 3 players to chow you with only 13 seconds left. There's no real winnable situation right here, so Fishbone can play the waiting game. Knows Bolu's going to drop onto his head, and a big round goes through for Scars.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, clean stuff. It's just one of those things that, hey, don't give away the advantage. And there were moments in there where I think we were all like holding our breath a little bit. Bolu definitely had a chance, but got multiple matches going on at once. These are all the winners qualifier matches, so even if one of these teams were to fall out, in particular looking over towards what's been going on in this Inco and Wolves matchup, which this has been surprising, I would say. I mean, we'd asked the question when we were doing all of our prep, like, are we sleeping on LATAM? We might be sleeping on LATAM a little bit too much, Bobby.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I knew they were going to be good. I didn't know they were going to be this good.
Good night, guys. Good night.